Hey, what's up, everybody? It's BDF44. Forgive my look. I'm just at home. I don't care. You guys have seen me at my worst. This may be that, but I don't care. I come here to discuss something that I'm paying attention to in the NBA. And to be honest with you, it's to me it feels like there's a change at the top. Even though Adam Silver's still the guy, in reading the moves that are being made in the NBA, it feels like there's a different person in charge than there was when the bubble was going on. That's what it feels like to me. It feels like somebody else is in charge. It feels like somebody has stepped in and is trying to undo some of the things that were done leading up to the bubble and a little bit beyond. It's like, okay, somebody else is in charge and they have a different way of approaching COVID. That's what it feels like to me. It feels like somebody. It's like when there's a fight at the top, and the opposing side wins, but they don't tell you that the opposing side is now in the victory seat. So it's like you still see the same voice, but they're singing the opposite tune of what they've been singing. That's what you read the tea leaves. That's what it seems to me. It seems like somebody said, okay, we've been losing money, even though we've done a great job at showing the sports world how to handle COVID. Those tactics only worked for the playoffs, and we're still losing money. It's like the board agreed that even though it worked to a degree in fighting COVID, they had to open back up the arenas, and in opening back up the arenas, it may not necessarily coincide with the plans that they had to keep the players safe from COVID. It may not coincide with the plans that they had for how they were going to get money in this process. And now it just seems like the people who are in charge, or the voice that's kind of influencing things, is more so focused on stopping the money bleeding and less so focused on fighting COVID. Maybe it's because they believe the cure is imminent. Maybe it's because people actually believe that the world is opening back up, and this is a time to try to just make that final push during the struggle before things open back up. So they, been bleeding out for a while. 6 months ago is now 6 months later, obviously, and a lot of money is still being lost just because you can't make up the revenue from some of the stuff that the NBA was doing regularly versus what they've had to change in the pandemic. So I get why people would say, you know what, this worked for the short term, but now we got to do something else, and money's still going, so let's get out here and push. But you're undoing the progress. The NBA went from damn near being the countrywide leader in how to handle COVID to now doing things that just don't make any sense, leaving the players vulnerable to COVID. So the only conclusion I've come to is that there's a different voice at the top. Somebody else is talking. Somebody else is running the show. Or the people at the top have completely abandoned the idea that safety first, money second. And they're showing it. And I just think that when you abandon your long-term success or your long-term stability for short-term stoppage of bleeding, you run the risk of losing all of the progress that you're trying to gain in the short term for all time, making it so that you can't recover. For example, and I've said this in another video, God forbid, I'll knock on wood, if the Lakers, or not even the Lakers, if the NBA goes forward and has this all-star game, and 2 or 3 super duper stars get COVID and are out for the season, just out, then suddenly some of the stuff they've been trying to do to get money, to keep players and keep people in seats, to just to make up this revenue, it's gonna go out the window anyway. You're not gonna be able to sustain the money that you're saving. It's like staying the course despite the fact that you're losing money is probably the safest way to go. Put these kids back in a bubble, man. Have several bubbles. Stop putting people in airports. Stop putting them on planes. Stop putting them in positions to where they can get COVID, going to different cities where they're not following the COVID rules. If you believe COVID's a real thing and you spent the last 8 months showing all of us how to handle it, why are you undoing all of your progress? And that answer is not available to us because, of course, they're not going to tell us what's going on. But like I said, my guess is the money's been bleeding out the whole time and somebody's starting to panic. Somebody says, let's just be real. I don't care about these ends. And when I say ends, I mean the N word. I care more about our business. So send their asses out there, get them stallions running, and if they get COVID, we'll deal with it as we cross that road. And that's what it seems like they've done here. They went from we care, Black Lives Matter, our players matter, we listening to your voice to, man, send their asses out there, and if they get COVID, we'll deal with it. We'll draft some new ones. That's the type of energy that I'm getting, and I don't like that from the NBA, personally. I don't like that. You know, as a black person, knowing that the NBA is, 80% black? 70-something high? I don't personally like that. You know, another big portion of it is immigrants, people who are not from this country. I don't like it. It don't sit well with who the NBA has been all this time, who they've shown us to be. Now it's like, they're bleeding out, and now they don't care anymore. The NBA went from caring to not caring, it seems. What brought about this thought to me was watching the NBA's top center, arguably, and Anthony Davis. It's him, Jokic, and Embiid. Those are the top guys at that position. Running around in a regular season game when he's already told you that he has a bum Achilles. And we know how serious the Achilles injury is, even though KD's come back from it and look great. We've been through this millions of times. You don't play around with an Achilles. This could end a person's career. And you got him out there running around, playing big minutes, 30-plus minutes. He plays great in one game, goes into pressure and tells you guys his Achilles is still very sore, and then you send him out there again the very next game? That's a greed move. You don't care nothing about that player. And I've seen this movie before. A lot of people be like, Anthony Davis is a grown man. He knows what he's doing. He can do whatever he wants. So there's two sides of that coin. I've thought about this. There's two sides of that, neither of which go in that direction. But the two sides are this. One, a player needs to be safe from themselves. I'm watching this game all my life. Players are going to want to play even when it makes no sense to do so. They're not doctors. And they're very much in shape, which means they think their body's going to react to it regardless of what it can do. They need to be hobbled in order to think they can't go a lot of times, especially when there's a lot of pressure, especially when they play for the Lakers next to LeBron James. He's going to force himself to go out there because the pressure is immense. And he sees guys much older than him running around being the most durable player we've all ever seen. He ain't going to tell himself he can't do that. Why? Because he's Pantheon great and he knows he's better than everybody else too. So he expects to be able to live up to that guy's level. So he's going to push himself out there even when it makes no sense to do so, just to try to keep up with that guy. Because that's who he's staring at. That's who he's going to war with. And you don't want to disappoint him. You got to save him from himself. That's the first side of that coin. The second side of that coin is, all due respect to Anthony Davis, he been paid. If he goes down with a catastrophic injury, set for life. It's not his responsibility to look out for the best interests of the organization. Him being healthy is the most important thing for our organization outside of LeBron James being healthy. It's the Lakers' responsibility and the NBA's responsibility to make sure that the player that they've paid is going to be able to do what he is paid to do, which is play basketball. It's not his responsibility to make sure of that. It's his responsibility to do whatever the hell he wants because he's already signed a contract. Like I said, he good. It's y'all responsibility to make sure who's ever wearing your colors is healthy. So if he wants to go out there and play and all, that's cool. That's great. Because he knows if he goes down with a catastrophic injury and never be able to play again, he's already been paid. That's the side of a coin that's not a comfortable conversation to have because we love our players. We care about our players. But a man who ain't been paid yet, he may not consider risking certain things to go out there and run around if he knows that he has $150, $160, $200 million laying on the line. But if he's already signed that dotted contract, he's cool. He don't have to worry about if he goes down, whether or not the money's going to be straight, his family going to be straight. He don't have to worry about that stuff. He can take risk like that. And if something goes wrong and he's out for the season, he's sorry. You feel me? It's not like he wanted to go down. He really wants to help the organization. But the bottom line was, that's a risk he could take. But it's not a risk the organization should be able to take. Because on the other side of that coin, you just invested $200 million in this dude. If he goes down, yeah, he's sorry, but not as sorry as you. At this point in time, we need to be smart. And like I said, I get it. Money is bleeding. It's a pandemic. Not everybody's able to sustain. This may not have been sustainable the way they were doing it. But guess what? This ain't sustainable either. What you're doing is not sustainable. Because if everybody gets COVID, it's a wrap. If everybody goes down with injuries, it's a wrap. You're going to be having teams out there in the finals and playoffs that ain't nobody going to want to see. You're promoting Anthony Davis and the Nets and LeBron. And we get to the finals, we going to mess around. We going to see Boston and Denver. And I'm telling you, your rating's going to be down. No disrespect to those teams, but the rating's going to be down. You get Utah and Philly or some shit. It's not going to be what we want to see. But you thought it was more important to play these hurt players and have these guys running around in COVID-ridden cities in the middle of February when you know damn well June is coming. Keep messing around, NBA. Keep on. You're going to see it's going to be more difficult to put quality product out there if you continue on this path and keep people in paths to bad health. It's the wrong move. It's just the wrong move. Whatever you're doing, you better come up with a better option than this. This ain't it. And to the Lakers organization specifically, I don't know if you're getting any pressure from the league to play your players. Lord knows they don't like that load management stuff, especially now. But the flip side of that is load management, to a degree, if done properly, can help sustain players through the duration of a 72 or 82 game season plus playoffs. It does help. Some of these guys are not built like LeBron. None of them are. They ain't supposed to be playing that many minutes for that many games. The body's just not built for that. You've been able to get away with it for many years, which is why people think the body's built for that. But how many players have actually been able to play their entire careers without really having serious injury issues? I mean, you don't have many LeBron James. You don't have many AC Greens. They don't exist. You got to be special genetically to be able to withstand that, and really, really lucky to not get hurt. You know what I mean? Remember a guy by the name of Andre Miller, point guard. He damn near didn't jump. And he was always healthy because he never jumped off the floor. Like, he stayed on the ground. If he was laying the ball up, that was about as much jumping as he was doing. And he was very much an Iron Man. You're not going to find many players like that, think that way, move that way. And even if they are, they're not going to stay lucky. Somebody's going to fall on somebody's leg. Somebody's going to do something like, 82 games has always been too much. But it's cool. Just so long as you play it smart when guys get injured. That's all I'm saying. Put our players' health first. As a fan, somebody who's been patronizing, giving money to the NBA, I want to see guys healthy. The pressure for Anthony Davis and these players to play and win championships for our teams, that stuff is understood. But if they can't make it through the season and you applying all this pressure, forcing them to do something that can't be done, forcing them into injuries, forcing them into unsafe situations, it seems to me that we're misplacing our responsibilities here. It seems to me that we're applying pressure in places that just doesn't help us at all. Healthy players can make you money. Unhealthy players, not very lucrative for you. My name is BDF44. I'm out.